Hi, good evening, everybody. Thank you very much for joining us tonight for our online evening event, What's Next at 18 Plus. We're just waiting for a few more people to join us this evening as they click through from the waiting room. So whilst we wait for them to log in properly, I'll just do a little bit of housekeeping. Tonight is a live event hosted on MS Teams, which means that we can't see you or your email addresses. It's completely anonymous, a bit like watching a TV programme. Depending on what kind of device you're watching on, you may even be able to pause us and nip off to the loo at part way through or make yourself a cup of tea. We're going to be running for about an hour and a half this evening. We've got 8 different presenters who are going to be talking to us all about university, higher education options and alternatives to heading off to university as well. The event itself is geared at students in years 12 and 13, thinking about what comes next after college or the sixth form. If you're here as a parent or carer, that's absolutely great. You'll get tons of useful information as well. And if you're still in years 10 and 11, but you've just joined us this evening to find out a little bit more about next steps, well done for being so organised. I'm going to get going. We've run over. I think everyone has been able to join now. So I'm just going to get started and introduce myself. My name is Caroline Patton from Stockport Jobs Match, and I will be your host for this evening. This is our lineup of guest speakers. As you will see, it is a pretty action-packed agenda that we've got tonight. We might have to change up the order just slightly because a couple of the speakers are running a little bit late, but they will all be with us, don't you worry. So we're going to be hearing from Stockport College, University of Manchester, Manchester Met, Liverpool Hope, Liverpool John Moores, University of Salford, Damar and the Prince's Trust towards the end, as well as looking a little bit at some of the alternative courses and continued learning that you can do if you decide not to continue in full-time education, what the part-time and pre-employment options are, as well as things like starting your own business. Now, if you have got any questions throughout the course of tonight's event, you can email those into us at info@stockport-jobsmatch.co.uk and we will send you an email back, or we will publish your question or ask your question online. Alternatively, you can submit them via social media on our Facebook and Twitter campaign accounts, or you can pop them on that Q&A button that you can see in the top right hand corner of your screens. So you can just pop it in there, and our guest speakers will answer that throughout the course of the evening. So just before we get started, to tell you a little bit more, this live event for this evening has been hosted as part of Post 16 Careers Week, and there are a range of free tools that you can access as a student or parent and carer available on our website. Those include things like daily reels and themes about different pathways for study, about how to make career choices, how to do things like think about Plan B options, UCAS applications, writing personal statements, preparing a budget for heading off to university or next steps, etc. There's lots of planning tools that you can download and general advice articles too. You can access all of that by scanning the QR code on your screen or visiting stockport-jobsmatch.co.uk. Just head over to our website and click on the Careers Hub at the top and then the Schools and Colleges button, and you'll be able to see a whole host of information. We've also got our dedicated social media channels on the screen at the moment. So on Twitter or X, we are at JobsMatchSK. You'll see a whole host of things on there when we regularly post things like part-time jobs, apprenticeship opportunities, full-time employment for post 18, and upcoming open days and events for recruitment fairs, university open days, etc. On Facebook, we are at Stockport Jobs Match, and we now have a dedicated Instagram account at Post 16 Careers. So be sure to give that a follow so that you can see all of our latest information. Now, before we move on to tonight's guest speakers, I just wanted to talk a little bit about the wealth of options that are available as you approach the end of years 12 and 13. So when you're coming to the end of sixth form college or an apprenticeship. And there are a raft of decisions that you now have to make. You should be a little bit prepared for them. You had your GCSE options first, then you had to decide what to do when you finish secondary school, but it now can feel like you've got too many options almost. Are you going to continue studying? Are you going to start work? Are you going to do a combination of the two? Do you maybe need to think about exam retakes? Are you going to head off to university? Are you going to live at home? Are you going to move away? Are you going to consider the HNC, HND route, or go down a degree apprenticeship or something else? And it can feel a little bit overwhelming as you approach that process of making a decision. Our advice is to stay open-minded for as long as you can without missing the deadlines, but to follow quite a structured approach to that decision-making process. So first up, to set your criteria. What is important to you? Is it the subject itself? Is there something that's dependent on your end career goal? Is it where you're going to study? Is it how long you're going to study for? Is it the environment? Is it the cost? Is it the location? Have a think about what's important to you as you make these next step decisions. Next up, exactly what you're doing this evening. Gather some information and find out as much as possible about your preferred route, what the entry requirements are, what the application deadlines are, what that environment might look like, all of the things that you'll need to consider. Go out and research them and arm yourself with as much information as you possibly can. Next up, identify alternatives. Things can and do go wrong at several stages throughout your career. For all of us, you know, even when you've started the world of work, things can and do go wrong. It's really important to have a backup plan, and knowing all about those available options can really help you if something does go awry, to have a backup in place really quickly. There's lots of different ways to reach that same end career goal. So knowing the different pathways that can still help you to achieve that will really make a difference should you need to just take a diversion on your route. Then weigh up all the available evidence. So go back to your original decision-making criteria and mark off all of the different choices so that you can make yourself feel like you're making a really informed decision, even if that's still the decision that you thought you would take in the first place. Having gone through this process will make you feel like you've made the right choice. Once you've chosen your preferred option, it's time to take action. Submit your applications, go along to open days, do taster sessions, get to know the city, employer, place that you will be studying in. And don't forget that there's still plenty of opportunities to review your decision before you start, or even when you've started, if you've made the wrong choice, to make adjustments from there. Okay, so there's lots of different routes that you can take once you've finished your A-levels, T-levels, BTECs, apprenticeships, NVQs. All of those are level 3 study. So if you've finished those and want to progress to the next stage, you're looking at level 4 and above. And roughly what that looks like is you can choose from an honours degree. So lots of the things that we're going to be hearing about tonight from some of the universities during our live event. So the BA and the BSc options of studying bachelor's degrees, which usually takes 3 to 4 years, mostly full-time, but you can study them part-time and remotely as well. You apply via a UCAS application. I think we're all quite familiar, but we're going to find the details out about that tonight. We've got the foundation degree route, which I think that Stockport College is going to be talking a little bit about, as well as the HNC, HND route. So foundation degrees delivered in partnership with employers. They're more of a vocational, hands-on learning at college or university, 2-year course with the option to top up. We've got higher and degree apprenticeships that Sabina at Damar is going to be talking about later on. They start at level 4 but go all the way up to level 7. And then we've got the HNC, HND route, which are obviously job-related qualifications lasting between 1 and 2 years and can be topped up to a full degree. And don't forget, if you didn't quite perform as well as you hoped at level 3, you have the option to revisit some of those qualifications or repeat the same level, but just doing something slightly different. So maybe if you did A-levels and then you want to move to an apprenticeship, you might want to start at level 3 before you move onwards and upwards. There's no hard and fast rule. There are also lots of alternatives that you can choose when you reach 18. So you can choose to enter the world of work with full-time or part-time employment. You may choose alternatively to do a work placement and find out a bit more about chosen careers before committing to something. Volunteering is a really good option. We're going to hear a little bit later on about some of the options for starting your own business, or apprenticeships, which obviously falls under the employment route because you apply like a job and earn a wage whilst gaining those qualifications. There's lots of different short courses that we're going to briefly touch on at the end of this evening that are available from 18 in some cases, but largely 19 plus, that are completely free. That's fully funded up until the ages of 25 or 30. So if your university plan doesn't quite work out, or you're waiting for a degree apprenticeship to start, for example, there are lots of intermediary options that you can choose that equip you with employability skills tailored to different jobs or skill areas, or things like leadership, team working, communication, confidence building that you can do whilst you're still making your mind up. There's also, if you decide not to go down the university or HE route, there are lots of courses, pre-employment courses that can help you into the world of work. So for anyone who's not in education, employment or training at 18 or 19 upwards, there are pre-employment courses lasting from 1 day to 12 weeks, usually with an interview with an employer on completion. So a great way to help you get into that future world of work. Alternatively, there are adult courses, some are free, some are a low cost. So without further ado, I'm going to move on to our presentations for this evening and introduce our first guest speaker, who joins us from Stockport HE University College to explain a little bit about what they've got to offer. So let me just bring up her slides first. Laura, are you okay to just turn off your microphone? I know you were a little bit late joining us, so you just let me know that everything's working okay.
Hi, yes, everything's working okay now.
Fantastic, great stuff. Well, I will pass you over to Laura then and allow her to introduce herself. Laura, your slides will be on the screen in just a second.
Excellent, thank you. I'm not seeing the slides just yet, Caroline.
Yeah, it's going to take a second to load. So if you want to get started introducing yourself, that'd be great.
Yeah, sure, no problem. Hi everyone listening, I'm Laura Johnson. I'm the team leader for careers at Stockport College. The person that might normally present tonight is a lady called Jane Nickerson, and she's the head of our university centre at Stockport College, but tonight she's actually celebrating with the graduates from this year. So I've stepped in to do the presentation, but she asked me to thank you all for listening and send a warm welcome if anyone would like to join us on one of our open days. So as I say, it's Stockport College is part of the Trafford College group. You can see our other colleges there on the slide. You've got Trafford College in Stretford and Altrincham. You've got Stockport College, Cheadle College, Marple Sixth Form College. That's the 16 to 19 offering. But for our post-18 learners, you have a university centre. So it's within the Stockport College setting, but you have your own university centre. Next slide, please, Caroline. So you often hear, don't you, or you often talk yourselves about going to uni, you know, and going off to uni, you know, or I'm going to go and do a degree. Actually, after post-18, after level 3 qualifications, what you're actually doing is going to study higher education. And there's many different options in higher education, and you can stay very local if you want to do them. So right now you'll be studying level 3, then there's level 4, 5 and 6. A full degree is level 6, whereas there's other options at level 4 and 5, and then you can even top up to level 6 to get a full degree. So one thing that you might be worrying about around this time is, how am I actually going to do? How am I actually going to perform? You know, I've done an access course or I've done a level 3 course and my grades aren't as high as some of the courses are asking for. So it's good for you to know that there's still an option locally at the University Centre in Stockport College. So the entry criteria can typically be around 64 UCAS points, and that can be any level 3 qualification. around A-levels, BTEC Extended National Diploma, or an access to higher education qualification, which is something that adults might do if there's any adults listening. You also need your GCSE English language, that's the English language one, and maths. Thanks, Caroline. So I was talking then about those qualifications, wasn't I? The level 4, the level 5, the level 6, and you can see on the screen some of those different options. So you can see HNCs, HNDs, so they're higher technical qualifications, and you can use those if you wanted to move on to the 2nd or 3rd year of an honours degree, or you can just walk away with that qualification. So typically they embed occupational standards in a key subject area, so it's very vocationally focused. So a HNC is level 4, a HND is level 5. Then you've got foundation degrees, they're level 5, they're 2 years. So it's like doing the 1st and 2nd year of a normal degree, but you can join with lower entry qualifications. And then if you wanted to, you can see the 4th option down is the top up degree. So say you completed a foundation degree or a HNC and HND, you can move on to top up to a full degree if you wanted to have that attainment, have that achievement. We do also offer the regular 3-year route. There's another thing that you might consider, which is higher apprenticeships, and that is an apprenticeship is where you work for your employer, but you can also study and be accredited for your study alongside that to level 4 and 5. So some of the questions that you might think, well, why do I want to go and study in a college? You know, when I could have the opportunity to either move away or to study at a university. So these are some of the reasons that people will often choose to study higher education in a further education setting and study locally. One thing that people worry about is, oh, you know, is it a degree from Stockport College on my certificate? Because, you know, you want that same sort of sense of achievement and sense of academic rigour that you would have with a university. So just to reassure you that the degrees are accredited by Sheffield Hallam University. So that's what you'd see on your, you know, on your certificate. So there's some of the reasons listed there. Often people want to stay locally. Great, I can carry on with the same kind of journey that I've always done. I can live at home. And that's a great reason. Another really great reason is that the class sizes tend to be smaller. And the other thing is that the degrees are very employer focused and they often have strong connections with local employers. So if your idea is, I want to study more, I want to get on, you know, and achieve, I'm still ambitious, but I want to stay where I live and I want to work where I currently live, then for those reasons, it could be a good choice for you. Thank you, Caroline. So these are just some examples of degrees that you can do or study with us, as well as the slightly lower qualifications, the level 4 and level 5. So you've got things like health and social care and applied science. I won't read out the courses, you can see them there and you can see them on our website as well. Construction. So remember what I'm saying, it's very kind of employer focused towards work. So you can see there we have a HNC and a HND construction. You can see there's different pathways. So again, very technically focused towards a particular area of construction, heating and ventilation, civil engineering and surveying, and the kind of careers and jobs that can lead to. Children, young people and families. So quite often if you've studied something like childcare, if you're not sure what you want to do with children, young people and families, but you know that you want to work with them in some way, but you don't want to do a primary school teacher degree, you know, people kind of come through these kind of decisions, or you want to be a nursery practitioner and be the, you know, very well educated, or you want to work in the education sector in some way but not sure yet how, maybe a youth, a community worker. then that's the kind of reason why people might choose these kind of foundation degrees. And as I say, you can top up or you can go straight for studying the BA Honours in Childhood Studies. Engineering, again, you can see it's the HNC level 4, the HND level 5, and it's very focused on your employability with 2 different pathways, one in mechanical and one in engineering. And then we have our creative industries. So we have foundation degrees in things like graphics and illustration, digital media, BA Honours in photography. And you can see the kind of careers that you can use that to move into. There's a HNC there in media makeup. That's worth a mention for any learners that are currently studying media makeup. And you'll see some of the degrees, perhaps the special effects degrees, the entry requirements are a little bit higher. So this is a way to kind of begin that higher education in media makeup. It's 1 year, you can then walk away into your industry, or you can continue to go to university and top up to a more specialist makeup degree. So you can see the flexibility there. Thank you. Computing and IT. So got a few sexy terms there: cyber security, software engineering. So as you can see, it's tailored towards the different kind of employability skills that you might want to use in that sector. So you can start with HNC, top up to HND, as I mentioned, and you can see some of the careers there. I'm sure we've all heard some of those terms now, and it's an ever-growing sector with a nice salary to boot. We have foundation degree in sports and coaching, and then you can see again the BA top up. So hopefully you're getting familiar with those terms now, so you can see you can kind of, it's like bite size, isn't it? You can do so much of it, and if you're not sure if you want to carry on, you can still leave with some academic qualifications, but you don't have to. But if you want to, you can then top up to a full degree. So if that option is of interest to you, the local thing, the small class size, the focus on employability, then Jane and myself would like to invite you to come along to these HE Open Days, Thursday the 9th, and Caroline, I'm sure you'll share the dates and slides, won't you, and things. Yeah, and Thursday, and then if that's a bit too soon, later on in the year. So these events, they're not for everybody to come for the 16 to 19. It's for, if you're interested, it's just specifically for the HE courses. So you'll be able to talk to the teachers in that area and the subject specialists in those areas. So if that's something you're interested in, please do come along, and we'd like to see you there. Thank you.
That's brilliant. Thanks ever so much, Laura. Really do appreciate you taking the time tonight to run us through some of the study options that are available at Stockport College. And I think it's safe to say that that mantra of staying local and going far really is true, particularly in light of all the reinvestment and refurb work that we've had done at our local college that we're very proud of. Now, we've had a couple of questions asked for you in the chat, but we're running a little bit late on time, I'm afraid. So I'm going to have to move us on to our next presenter. But I would ask you to continue to submit your questions for Laura and Stockport College in the chat, and Laura will be happy to answer those for you. So thanks very much, Laura, for joining us tonight.
Yes, sure. Thank you. Thanks, everyone.
Perfect. Next up tonight, I'm going to introduce you to Hugh Peters at University of Manchester. I'll just tee up your slides now, Hugh, but I'll pass you straight over so we can keep sticking onto our tight schedule. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you very much for having me. So I'm Hugh. I'm here from the University of Manchester. I work in our UK recruitment team, so I go out talking to prospective students at schools and colleges. So thank you for having me tonight. So I'm going to try and do the University of Manchester in a bit of a whistle-stop tour, so I won't be able to fit everything in, but hopefully we will have some time to answer a couple of questions. But I will be here to answer any questions in the chat during the rest of the evening. In terms of the University of Manchester, I'll talk a little bit more about it in a second, but we've got 3 main things that we focus on. I'll talk about courses in a little bit, but as a university, these are the 3 things that we particularly focus on: doing research, finding out new things, and helping that inform the teaching that we do. We also want to make sure that you have a really positive experience as a student, so we want you to have an outstanding learning experience, and therefore the way that we teach and the style of teaching, we want to reflect that. And then also we want to make sure that we give back to our community. We make sure that we encourage students from all backgrounds to attend the University of Manchester and try and make sure that we open as many opportunities to people as possible. So just to start us off with a little bit about kind of where we stand in terms of the world. So I've got a couple of rankings. I think every university will find something that they're towards the top of, but we've got three main ones that we're going to focus on here. If we just bring up the three scores, that would be great. Thank you. So we're looking at the international rankings typically as a university. So we look at the QS World Rankings from 2023. So we're 6th in the UK in that ranking, 8th in Europe and 28th in the world. So I think that's a really good reflection of kind of the style of teaching, the university as a whole, and kind of how we think of ourselves in terms of having that kind of international recognition. We again are focusing on our research, and that ties into the funding we have for our facilities and the kind of teaching that you would be able to experience. So 93% of the research that we do is internationally excellent or world leading. So we are really trying to be at the forefront of a whole variety of different things. We are very much a big place, so we have over 400 courses, so I'm absolutely not going to go through all of them. I've got a slight snapshot of a couple of them in a moment. We have around 10,000 students that will start with us each year, and we have around 85,000 applications for those places essentially. So we are a competitive place, we are a popular place, but the scale and size and choices at Manchester tends to be what would give you a different perspective compared to different institutions. And it's all about you thinking through what you want to do. So these are a handful of those 400 courses that I mentioned. And so I'll just touch on a few of these in a second. My usual joke is that we do everything from accounting and finance through to zoology and everything in between. I usually find it easier to explain what we don't do as a university. Then there's other courses that, for example, colleagues in this room will be better at teaching and to teach in a better way than we do. However, we do a little bit of most things. So our popular courses will be things like engineering. So we've got a brand new facility for engineering, which I'll touch on later. Things like business, psychology, law, physics and astrophysics, which is a big part of what we do at Manchester. So there are lots of different areas that we focus on. The grades that we're asking for will vary quite a lot as well. So the highest grades we ask for, and just talking about A-levels for the moment, although we do accept BTECs and other qualifications as well, the highest will be 3 A stars. The lowest will be BCC. As you can see, that is quite a wide variety. So it all depends on the subject that you're interested in and the kind of subjects that they need in order for you to kind of complete that degree. The average is probably around somewhere between 3 A's and 2 A's and a B at A level, but it really does depend on the individual subject that you're interested in. So it's all about doing a bit of research, doing a bit of finding out a bit more, looking on our website and contacting us if you're not clear about anything in terms of our entry requirements. Most of the time it's just based on your application, but some of our courses will have things like portfolios or assignments or tests that you would need to complete, and some will also have interviews. So there's a little bit of a variety in the way that we're looking at and assessing candidates. In terms of the style of teaching, it does vary again across those 400 different degrees. So we like to try and mix it up depending on what we think is the best way to teach you. And it's all about research-led teaching. So that's the reason why I've kind of emphasised why we focus a lot on research. We want to make sure that you can access our facilities. So our students are on campus 24/7, not saying you're working all the time, all the way through the night, but the option is open to you if that's something you wanted to do. And we're very much focused on encouraging peers to support each other. So current students supporting other students. We have things like peer-assisted study schemes alongside actual support from academics through academic advisement. We want to make sure that whatever course you're being taught, whether it's a more lab-based activity, whether it's engineering that's more project-based, or whether it's the humanities where you'll be doing a lot of independent research, you're able to access and look at those styles of teaching and see what you enjoy and what works for you. But it's not just about the academic experience as well. You do have to think through what else you can do at university. We are on your doorstep. There's tons of things you can do. So there's things like our Students' Union, which is one of the largest in the UK. They've got societies of all kinds, tons of stuff you can get involved in to try out things that you might not have ever had the chance to do before. And they're also there to represent your views. So we really want to make sure that Student Union is really part of the way that we engage with students. And those societies are a bit of everything. There are, again, around 400 different societies, everything from, I recently discovered our Pantomime Society and the Disney Society, so it does change year on year. So if you've got an interest in something, you'll find students that are like-minded. So we have around 42,000 students as a university, so therefore there'll be plenty of people that share the same interest as you, and you can always create new societies if you wanted to as well. We are very much a part of the city of Manchester as well. So as you'll see, this is a little bit of an older picture, so you can't see that, for example, our £400 million new engineering building on there. But as you can see, we are very close to the city centre and next to our neighbours at Manchester Metropolitan University as well. So we see ourselves as a very city-based university, but on a single teaching campus, which is really nice. Usually it's about a 5-minute walk between any of our buildings, so it's good to kind of get the kind of campus kind of experience whilst very much being on your doorstep in the city of Manchester. And so that was me trying to fit everything into about 5 minutes. So if there are any questions from anyone, either through the chat or through Caroline from social media.
Great, thanks, Hugh. I'm fielding a couple from X at the moment, so you'll have to bear with me. Somebody has popped one in the chat, so let me just pull that up at the moment. If you've got questions for Hugh, please continue to post them now. Somebody has put, what do Manchester University look for in applications? And I've got a similar one on X here that says, have you got any tips for personal statements?
Everyone loves a personal statement. I'm going to say my general advice of personal statements is you should be able to tell why you want to apply for a course. And that sounds a bit silly, but the first paragraph should be really obvious, what course it is and the reasons that you want to do that subject. The rest of it, generally speaking, is we want to see your motivation, your skills, your experience, the kind of things that will prove you'll do well in that degree. So we're not trying to trip you up, we're not trying to get anything out of you, but the personal statement is more about explaining your passions, your interests, and making sure that you're showing your motivation for a particular course. It does vary slightly between them, but broadly speaking, that's what we'd be looking for.
Okay, fantastic. Somebody else has put through Facebook, when are the open days and do you have taster sessions or things like that?
Our next open day is on Saturday, so I'm going to be, if you're going to the engineering building, you're welcome to come and say hello to me. I'll be at the top of the stairs pointing you towards whatever lecture theatre you want to go to. The next ones after that will be in the summer, so they'll be in June time. There are plenty of ways to visit us throughout the year, so we have guided visits on Wednesdays, we have some subject online taster sessions on our virtual open days, things like that. But if you want to come for a main open day, either come on Saturday or in June time. It all depends on what year you're in. Often, if you've got an offer from us as well, you'll be invited to come to a post-offer visit day. So if you're in year 13, you've just applied, there will be chances to come and visit if you haven't done already.
Okay, I've got one more that I'm going to ask you and then I'll leave the rest to come through on the chat. Somebody's asked about competitiveness of courses and kind of the concerns about not getting a kind of first unconditional place and whatnot. What does it look like at the moment in terms of kind of the track record for the last couple of years with people applying to courses at Manchester University? Are they heavily oversubscribed or does it just depend on the course?
Again, unfortunately, my answer is it depends, is almost uniformly what I will say. What I will say is we're relatively transparent in terms of the grades that we ask for. So if a course is competitive, it will tend to have higher grades. We try not to have too many additional steps, interviews or tests to get in the way. The exception to that will be something like medicine, where it is quite an involved process. But if you're predicted the grades that we're asking, you can put together a good personal statement, then you've probably got a relatively good chance of getting made an offer, but it's usually reflected in the kind of the grades that we're looking for.
Brilliant, that is fantastic. Thank you very much indeed, Hugh. I will leave anybody else to pop their questions for Hugh at the University of Manchester in the chat. Thank you for joining us this evening. That was a really good roundup of things. And without further ado, I'm going to pass to our next presenter who joins us from just round the corner at Manchester Metropolitan University. Good evening to you, Andrew.
Hi, good evening, you okay?
Yeah, good, thank you. I will tee up your slides in just a moment. Just forgive me, I've put the wrong ones on the screen, so you'll have to just bear with me 1 second whilst I swap you over. Just introduce yourself to everybody and get started and trust that they'll be with you in a second.
Yeah, hi there everyone. My name's Andy. I'm talking to you about Manchester Met today. I was previously working in our outreach team, talking to people at schools and colleges about their university choices and student finance, personal statements and things like that, but I've recently moved into new role in widening participation, working with younger learners. But I'll go straight into talking about Manchester Met. We've not got too long, but I'm sure I can give you a quick whistle-stop tour of everything about the university. So first of all, just talk a little bit about location. So of course we are in Manchester, and as you kind of saw on Hugh's map there before, Manchester Met. We are next to University of Manchester, but also kind of right on the in the city centre there as well. So by Manchester Metropolitan University, we do provide a city centre type experience. So if that is something that you're looking for out of your university life, is to kind of have everything on your doorstep, then that's certainly something that we can offer. I know most of you watching this or listening to this now are local, and of course I'm sure you're in and out of Manchester all the time. But in terms of it being a student city, it is extremely popular, and for good reason. It's been voted the UK's third best student city, but it's also one of Europe's most densely populated student cities, which again sort of gives you that opportunity to meet all different types of people and meet like-minded individuals who are into the same types of things that you are as well at the same time. Next slide. And in terms of the university itself, so Manchester Met is kind of what would be considered a modern university. It became a university in 1992, like many others across the UK. However, we do, as an institution, our heritage does go all the way back to 1824, when we were called the Manchester Mechanics Institute. However, we are very much forward-looking, and we have had a lot of investment in the university in the last few years. And just in the last couple of years, we invested more than £400 million in new buildings and facilities. One example of that is our brand new science and engineering building, which will be open to all students from the new year. With all state-of-the-art laboratories and things like that. So if sciences is something that you're interested in, then you'll certainly be well placed in terms of facilities at Manchester Met. We are one of the top most sustainable universities in the UK. This is something that we put a lot of focus on. We are very much future focused, and we do want the campus itself to be as sustainable as possible. We've been in the top 3 since 2013. We have been number 1 at other points, but we are currently number 2 in that table, but that just kind of shows our ongoing commitment to that. And Manchester Met is also one of the UK's most popular universities. We have a very large student population, much like University of Manchester do. In terms of just UK applicants, so taking international students out of that, we're actually the most applied to university in the UK. Next slide. In terms of kind of our study spaces, I mentioned before about having a brand new science and engineering building, but many of our buildings on campus did only open in the last sort of 5 to 10 years. We've had a lot of new buildings popping up. That includes our brand new School of Digital Arts, where Danny Boyle is the patron, and that kind of is indicative of a lot of the staff and a lot of the academics working in our new School of Digital Arts, in terms that they have industry connections as well as being leading academics in their field. We also have state-of-the-art facilities in other buildings. For example, in our health and education faculty, we're one of the few universities in the UK that has its own MRI scanner on campus. And then just to go through a few of the courses, so in health and education, we offer things like physio, psychology, nursing, social work. The School of Digital Arts that I mentioned before, we do things like filmmaking, computer games design. We do have a triple accredited business school, which makes it one of the top 1% of business schools in the world, and we offer things right from business management through to marketing, accounting and finance and everything in between, and many more. Could go on and talk about that. We offer hundreds of different courses, but the best place I'd say to start with this is to have a look at our website. So there's a course finder on there. You can go in, type in the subject that you're interested in, and it'll show you all the connected courses to that. For entry requirements, I know my colleagues from Stockport College and from University of Manchester mentioned theirs before, so I thought it'd probably good if I mention ours as well. Typically, we're asking for 104 to 112 UCAS points for a lot of our courses. That's a B and 2 Cs or 2 Bs and a C at A level, or distinction merit at BTEC. However, some of the courses are a bit higher than that. Law, for example, is asking for 120, psychology 128, and similar for physio and speech and language therapy as well. And then there's a couple of specialisms in psychology that are a little bit higher again. So some of them are a little bit higher than that. Next slide, please. As well as kind of looking at the courses, we do have a real focus at Manchester Met of employability. So many of our courses come with the option of taking a work placement year. It's an optional thing, but it's quite a good thing to be able to do in terms of the fact that you can gain more experience, get something to put on your CV. It's a year of paid work as well. And then sometimes people who do the work placement year are able to go and work for that employer once they've finished university. But even if the course you want to do doesn't offer a work placement year, you can still get involved in maybe doing a term of work experience, or even we can help you find work experience during the summer to make you more employable for once you've finished university. Next slide. On employability, we are the UK's biggest provider of degree apprenticeships. Degree apprenticeships are something that's becoming more and more popular. Degree apprenticeship is essentially full-time work, but you are studying for a full honours degree at the same time. So it's the same bachelor's degree that you would get through studying full-time university. There are some massive advantages to doing a degree apprenticeship. There is no tuition fees involved. There's a salary. It's a minimum starting salary of £16,000 a year at the moment. However, most of them tend to pay in sort of high teens, low 20s, and a lot of our apprentices get pay rises as the years go on through their degree apprenticeship. There are a couple of drawbacks as well. They are due to the sort of the good offer of it. They are very competitive. You apply for the job first and then the university second. So when you're applying for that degree apprenticeship job, they do tend to be competitive, just like applying for any other type of job where you're competing against other people. And I'd say it's perhaps not really kind of like university life, in that you don't really live in accommodation, and perhaps because you do tend to be working, say, 4 days a week and 1 day a week at the university, it's difficult to find time to get involved in like sports and societies and things like that. But if you are very much career driven, you know what you want to do now, and you can find a degree apprenticeship in that area, then this is a really good option. Next slide. And again, I know I'm talking to quite a local audience, but you still are welcome to use the accommodation at Manchester Met and move in and kind of have that full university experience, if that's something that interests you. If you do decide that you want to live in accommodation with Manchester Met, if you put Manchester Met down as your firm choice on your UCAS application and make sure that you let us know that you do want accommodation before August time, then you would be guaranteed some accommodation with us. Next slide. And kind of looking at that student life, we do have a very active student union, as we're a big university. We have most sports and societies that you could think of. You can play sports kind of competitively, or you can do it on a more casual basis, and university is a great opportunity to get into doing things that you've not done before. If we don't have the sport or society to suit you, then you can always apply for a grant in order to be able to set up your own. Next slide. We do have some open days coming up, so we've got one this Saturday, one the Saturday after, and then another one towards the end of November, and we do have one June in every year as well. I would really recommend that you come along to these, particularly if you're between doing a few different courses. We do talks for all the courses that we offer. They're only about 20 minutes long, so you can do a few in a day, and of course you can have a look around the campus and the accommodation and student union, everything like that at the same time. Okay, and I think that brings me to the end. If we have any questions.
Yeah, we've had quite a few come in through the chat. We're running tight on time, so I'm just going to ask you one, if that's okay. Let me pick one. Well, this is quite a specific one, actually, so it might be easier for you to answer quickly. What sort of work placements would be available to linguistics students, we've had asked? Do you know the answer to that, Andy?
I don't, to be honest. No, that one's really specific. And for something like that, if I suggest that if you go to our website, and then put mmu.ac.uk/courses, there's a form on there where you could email our course inquiries team. They'd probably need to go and ask the academics from that particular faculty, or if you come along to the open day as well, they'll be able to give you some advice on that too, in terms of the sorts of placements that would be available for that course.
No problem at all. Perhaps picked a tricky one there. There has been about 8 questions submitted during the course of your talk. If you've got a question for Andy, please continue to pop it in the chat. He will write you a reply now. Thank you very much for joining us this evening. And do please pop along to that open day on Saturday for both unis if you wish. Right. Next up this evening, we have Ella. Let me find you. Ella, there you are. I'm going to switch you over. Bye, Andy. Hello, Ella. Your slides will be on the screen in a second, so I'll let you jump straight in and introduce yourself this evening.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. So my name's Ella. I'm a graduate advocate at Liverpool Hope University. So I studied drama and theatre studies at Hope from 2018 to 2021, and now I work in the Student Futures Department. So I'm going to be chatting a little bit about Hope. We do have some open days coming up in the next couple of months, so I'd really recommend coming along and chatting to us there. Okay, next slide, please. So Hope was originally founded in 1844 as St Catherine's College, a teacher training college. Teacher training is one of our specialisms. We still do it now, and it is a very, very popular course for our students. We are a very small university in comparison to most of the universities that are here today. So at any one time, we only have about 5,500 to 6,000 students. So that translates to quite small class sizes, which I know I found very beneficial. And, you know, you really get to know your lecturers one-on-one. We have over 1,300 course combinations to choose from, over 70 courses that we offer. So as I mentioned, one of our specialisms is teacher training, but we also have a wide variety of courses in creative and performing arts, sports and IT. Currently, we have spent about £60 million on campus developments in the last couple of years, the most recent of which is our inquiry building, which is due to be completed in March. So if you'd like to come and check that out, I do believe we currently have a time lapse on YouTube. So if you're interested in construction, it's well worth a watch. Next slide, please. So we are top 4 in the Northwest for teaching quality. We were rated gold in the Teaching Excellence Framework, so we have a very high quality of teaching at Hope. And Liverpool as a city, as I'm sure most of you are aware, was ranked top 5 in a list of the world's friendliest cities. I'm from Coventry originally, and I have to say, coming to Liverpool, everyone was incredibly friendly, really helpful. You could just stop random people in the street and ask them where you need to go, and they're super, super helpful. Next slide, please. So we have 10 different schools and departments that our courses are split across. So we have our School of Business. This is a fully accredited school, so our graduates work really, really hard, and they have, just a fantastic standard of working. We have the School of Creative and Performing Arts, which I graduated from. So this covers music, musical theatre, drama, graphic design, fine art and film studies as well. Our Education Department, which is probably one of our biggest departments. The Department of Geography and Environmental Sciences kind of does what it says on the tin. We have our Department of Health and Sports Sciences, so all of our sport degrees plus nutrition and health and social care. Our Humanities School, which is absolutely huge and covers a little bit of everything from English to history. Our School of Law and Criminology. Our School of Mathematics, Computer Science and Engineering, which again covers things from AI to robotics. Our Department of Psychology and our School of Social Sciences. Next slide, please. So we have 3 campuses. Hope Park, which is our main teaching campus, where our student bar is situated and our student union is based. We have our creative campus in Everton, which is the home to all of our creative and performing arts subjects. And we have Egbert Park, which is one of our residential only campuses. We also have Plascardian, which is a campus in North Wales. It's an outdoor activity centre. So all of our first year students will get the opportunity to go to Plascardian at some point during their first year. It's a fantastic place to bond and get to know your fellow students. And I have to say from personal experience, the hash browns and the food are absolutely phenomenal. Can we have the next slide, please? So Plascardian is a study retreat with purpose-built classrooms. If you are studying something in health and sports sciences, or if you're studying in the Department of Geography and Environmental Sciences, you will get to go to Plascardian much more than other students. So you'll be able to do field work there, research there, and undertake assessments there. So you get a lovely little bonus. Next slide, please. So in terms of our accommodation, we have accommodation across all 3 campuses, Hope Park, Creative and Egbert. Creative students are automatically assigned to the Creative campus. We find that if a drama student lives with a musician, people tend to be a bit more tolerant of late night rehearsals and, you know, drumming sessions, that kind of thing. You have a choice of ensuite or shared bathrooms. Prices range from £100 to £130 per week. And all our accommodation is swipe card entry only. So they're very, very secure, and we do have security on campus 24/7. Next slide, please. In terms of life at Hope, we have a range of options for you to get involved with the university and for the university to support you. So we have a fantastic student development and wellbeing team. The student development and wellbeing team lead counselling, drop-in sessions, advice sessions. They also run learning support plans for students as well. So if you do have a learning difference, like dyspraxia, dyslexia, anything like that, they can support you with learning support plans. The number of students that we have at the university that are disabled are above the national average. So we are very, very well placed to support students with disabilities and with learning differences. We also have the student union, who are absolutely fantastic. I do personally know some of the people on the team this year, and I have to say they are already making such a difference to the university. We have Hope Park Sports, so our sports membership is £25 for the entire year. We really want to keep costs low for our students. So this involves your gym membership, but also unlimited sports classes and exercise classes, and also booking out things like our 3G pitches, the AstroTurf, and the sports hall. We also have quite a number of ways to get involved with volunteering. So we have Global Hope, which is our charitable initiative. So we go out to communities in Peru, Brazil, India and Sri Lanka. We ask the communities what we can provide them, what would be most beneficial to them, and then we work with them to provide it. We also have SALA, so our Service and Leadership Award. So this is an opportunity for students to volunteer with local organisations to help with community focused projects in Liverpool. And we are one of the few universities in the Northwest to offer the Gold Duke of Edinburgh, led by staff. Quite a lot of these are student-led at other universities, but we have dedicated staff to lead your Gold D of E. Next slide, please. So in terms of application dates, we ask that all applications in are in by the 31st of January with the normal UCAS deadline. Your last date for applications with your choices are the 30th of June, and on the 5th of July clearing does open. So our current clearing is due to close tomorrow at noon. So if anyone fancies getting theirs in at a really late date, they absolutely can. But yeah, so we have open days coming up on the 28th of October. So again, I'd recommend coming along, having a chat to us, having a chat to our academics. And we do have some virtual open days as well coming up on the 29th of November and the 13th of December. So those will be held on Zoom. If you can't make those, we are super flexible. So we do offer campus tours throughout the working week at a time that's convenient to you. And we do also offer one-on-one one-on-one chats with our academics. So when I was applying, I did some one-on-one chats with the academics from the English department and the drama department, and I found them really, really helpful in terms of deciding my career direction and which degree I'd like to go for. So I would really recommend those. So that's everything from me. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you, Stockport, for hosting this. This is a fantastic event.
No problem. Thanks very much, Ella, for giving us a really good overview there as to the whole host of things, from courses to accommodation to hash browns. Who couldn't resist that? Sounds absolutely fantastic, and really nice to hear from a recent student as well. So thank you very much for sharing that experience with us. We have had quite a few questions come through on the chat. If I can just remind everybody, when you're popping your questions on the chat, if you can try and let us know if you want a response from a particular speaker tonight, if you want to hear it from Ella or Hugh or Andy or Laura, then do try and pop their name in if you can. Otherwise, if it's just a general question, that's fine. We'll all try and write a response at some point. That's absolutely no problem. Just wanted to ask you one quick question, and then I'll let you reply to them in the chat. Somebody's put, where is Liverpool Hope compared to the city centre? I think they're trying to think logistically, where is it and how can I get there?
Yeah, absolutely. So we are just off the end of the M62 in Chilwell. So we're about 20 minutes away from the city centre by bus, about the same by taxi. We're very close to Liverpool South Parkway station, and we are about 20 minutes away from Liverpool Lime Street station as well. So we're nice and close to the city centre, and we do offer a free shuttle bus service towards the city for our students.
Brilliant. So very centrally located is the answer to that. Quite easy to get around places from all of those different campuses. So that's brilliant. Thanks ever so much for joining us, Ella. I'm going to move on quickly to our next presenter so that we can stick on schedule for tonight. Keep those questions coming in at the chat. If you can't use the Q&A button tonight, we've had a few people say they can't do so. Please use X @JobsMatchSK or go on to Instagram @Post16Careers and pop your question on there for us, please, and give us a follow whilst you're at it. Thank you very much, Ella. I'm going to move over now to Nikita, who joins us this evening from Liverpool John Moores. Your slides are ready to go. Off you go, Nikita.
Hi, thank you. So I'm Nikita. I'm actually currently still a student at Liverpool John Moores. So if anyone does have any questions about student life or what it's like to be a student, feel free to send them on in too. And we've got Cameron answering questions for us as well. So yeah. So obviously, you've heard Liverpool's a really great location, one of the friendliest cities, so that's great. We're right in Liverpool city centre at John Moores, so all of our buildings, all of our accommodations and everything is right in the city centre. Some of our accommodations and some of our university buildings are within like a 2-minute walk of Lime Street, so that just tells you how central we are. We are a university with about 20,000 students, so we are quite a big university. That just means there's always loads going on in all the buildings, and you'll always find people. You'll never be in any buildings alone, and there'll always be people to spend your time with. And we do have over 200 courses, which I'm obviously not going to list right now. But we've got everything from accountancy to zoology and everything in between. So if you do want to have a look on our website, you'll see all of our specific subjects. We do offer a great student sorry. We do offer a great student experience. That's something as a student I can guarantee. And I'm sure Cameron will agree as well, as he's also a student. We've got excellent support, so that's something that we really focus on at John Moores, is the student experience and student support. Again, with the student support, we do have loads of generous bursaries and scholarships available. So if anyone is thinking that finances might be a barrier to university, there's loads of help with that when you're coming. And like I said, we're in the city centre and you're guaranteed city centre accommodation. So all of our buildings have accommodations around them. You can pick whatever accommodation you want. You don't have to go with the accommodation that's beside your university building, but you're guaranteed your city centre accommodation. Yeah. So there's loads of different options that you can study. Some people have spoken already about these, so I won't go into too much detail about what they all are. But you've got your full-time degree. They're usually 3 years, sometimes 4. You've got your sandwich degree, so that's something that I done. That's where you do a year's work experience, so you get a year in industry in between your 2nd and 3rd year, so that'll make your degree 4 years, and it's really good if you do want to get some work experience. It'll set you aside when you're applying for jobs. We've got joint degrees, so you can do more than one degree at one time. We offer some foundation years, which people have touched on already. some integrated masters. So if you think you might want to do a master's, it's worth applying for an integrated master's before you come to university. That just means you're applying for it all at once, and you get extra funding and stuff for your integrated masters, and compared to if you were applying for it after your undergraduate. Most of that's with engineering courses. We offer some degree apprenticeships, so if you are interested in degree apprenticeships, you can look online and have a look and see if any of the ones that we offer at the minute interest you. We've got some really good study abroad options, and there's a lot of study skills and study support for all of our students. And we also have a business startup hub, so if anyone's feeling like an entrepreneur, if you've got any business ideas, you can pitch them to the university and they might help you start your business if it's something that they see is like viable. Yep. So I mentioned before, we've got some go abroad opportunities. So there's loads of different options to travel with university. So if anyone is thinking of traveling at all in their life, try and do it while you're at university. So it's completely funded at university, so you don't have to pay for flights or accommodation or anything like that. So it is really good to get some free travel. So with Drummers, you can study for a semester, so you can go for 3 months in your second year, or you can go for a year in between your second and third year. We've got links with schools in China, Japan, Malaysia, all over Europe and all over America. So if you're interested in studying any of them countries, you can go with your course for most of our courses. If you are interested in a specific course, just check online to make sure that it's a course that offers study abroad. We also give you the opportunity to work abroad and volunteer abroad. We've got our global summer school, so we're partnered with 16 different countries that you can go to. I live with the girl who spent 6 weeks in Bali over summer, completely funded, working on the United Nations sustainability goals. So there's loads of different global opportunities at the university too. Yep. So we are a city-based university, like I mentioned. So we are city-based, but we've got 2 campuses within the city centre. So the first one is our Mount Pleasant campus. That's where our Faculty of Business and Law is, our Faculty of Arts, Professional and Social Studies, and our Screen School. So if you're interested in any of those subjects, they're on Mount Pleasant and our Mount Pleasant campus. Yep. And then we have our city campus. So that's where all of our like engineering and technology courses are. That's where our Faculty of Health is, our Faculty of Science. Yep. And our Faculty of Science and Sports. So all of them types of courses are in our city campus, although they are both in Liverpool City Centre and they're both within walking distance of Lime Street. So we really do specialise in sports at Drummers. So we're 9th in the world and 6th in Europe. So there are some really impressive stats and some really impressive courses in the university. So if you're interested in any of sports courses, you can just have a look here. And we've got things like nutrition, physical education, science and football, sports coaching, sports psychology, sports nutrition, and sports and exercise science. So there's loads of different courses to choose from. And again, we've got links with Everett and Anfield. So like I mentioned, we're really popular with sports. We actually have a brand new sports building on Copperas Hill, if anyone knows Liverpool. You can rent out any of the courts if you want. So there's multi-courts, there's 120 station gym, there's dance studios. So you can rent out any of the courts, or if you want to join the gym, it's £25 a year and you can access all of these facilities also. Yep. And like I mentioned again, you're guaranteed your city centre accommodation. So this is just some of the accommodations that we offer. So we've got Marybone. Our healthcare students, we offer them to stay at Marybone, so they're all in the same accommodation. We've got things like Barron Point. So this just shows you the variety of accommodations there is. Yep. And then this is just some more pictures. So it shows you just how nice some of the accommodations are. And then some money advice and bursaries and scholarships. So yeah. So we've got loads of scholarships available at Drummers, so never let money be a barrier for university, because there's loads of scholarships available to help you with that. So we've got our Vice Chancellor Scholarship, so that's just if you're a top applicant in all areas. We've got things like Academic Excellence Scholarships, Community Excellence. We've got like sports scholarships and things as well. So if you think you're eligible for any scholarship, definitely just apply for it. The worst anybody can say to you in an application is no, and it's that's fine. You might as well apply and get some free money. So scholarships is money that you don't have to pay back. So yeah, just try and get as much free money as you can while you're at university. Yep. And then we've got our bursary as well. So you don't need to apply for this. This is automatically granted to you upon like your student finance application, and that's £500 a year. So you get £250 in November and £250 in April. So it's completely up to you how you spend your money. You might choose to spend it on rent, you might choose to spend it on an night out. It's completely up to you, but it is an extra £500 again that you don't need to pay back. Yep. And we have an NHS training grant as well. So that's a minimum of £5,000 a year for anyone studying a nursing or an allied health course. And that's for all universities in England as well, not just Drummers. So like I said, we're really focused on like student experience. So we've got loads of support for our students just to make sure that we're having the best experience. So we've got the hardship fund. So if anyone struggles financially at university, you can apply for the hardship fund and get some money from the university. We help students with employment and internships. But we've also got our student advice and wellbeing team, study support, counselling, our student union and personal tutors. And all of this can be found in our student life building. And that's on Coppers Hill beside the sports building, and it's open for 24 hours. Yep. Just Cameron will answer any questions that you have in the Q&A box. And then next. Just if anyone is interested in coming to our open days, we have one this Saturday. Obviously, that's quite late notice. We also have one in November and another one in November. So if anyone's interested in coming along to any of the open days, seeing some of our facilities, chatting to lecturers, chatting to students, anything like that, feel free to just book on. So you can just book through our website. Thank you.
Is that the last slide, Nikita?
Yeah, that's the last slide.
Yeah, I didn't want to cut you off.
No,
brilliant, that's really great. That accommodation looks fantastic and such a wide variety of courses as well. I just want to ask you, because there have been quite a few questions on the chat that I'm sure Cameron will reply to. As a student there yourself at the moment, what is it that you enjoy most about being there?
For me, it's just Liverpool in general. Obviously, I'm from Northern Ireland and I'm from a little town in Northern Ireland. So for me, it's just like the busyness of being in Liverpool. There's always something to do. You always have people to spend your time with. So for me, it's just Liverpool in general.
Okay, fantastic. Well, thank you very much for joining us tonight. I'll leave you to jump onto the chat. I'm going to tee very nicely up to our next presenter. If I can find her. Where are you, Becky? There you are. You've popped your camera on for me. Fantastic. Thank you, Nikita. I will pass you over to Becky now, who joins us from University of Salford. Your slides will be on the screen in just a second. I was busy moderating all of the questions on the chat, but please introduce yourself and get started.
Hi everyone, my name is Becky. I work for the University of Salford. I'm also a graduate of the University of Salford and studied both my undergraduate and my postgraduate degrees there. So I'm very familiar with the university from a staff point of view and from a student point of view. So next slide, please. So just a quick overview of what I'm going to kind of discuss with you today and tell you about. So we'll go through who we are, where we are, what you can study with us, accommodation, and then just general student support that you can find here at the University of Salford. Next slide, sorry. So you might be wondering who we are. We are just based on the outskirts of Manchester city centre. We actually have 3 campuses across our university. So we are a campus university, so most things can be found on each site. We've got a few pictures there of our 3 campuses. So on the left-hand side, that's our Peel Park campus. You might hear it's kind of discussed as our main campus. We then also have our Frederick Road campus, otherwise known locally as our health campus. And then we have our Media City building based down right on Salford Quays, which is a really lovely space for all of our media, journalism and TV students. Thank you very much. So this is a little bit of depth as to where we are, because we get a lot of questions when we say we're kind of right next to Manchester city centre. So we are a 20-minute walk away from the city centre, or a 5-minute train. So if you're thinking of commuting or you're kind of wanting to get into the city nice and quickly, we do have a train station on our campus, so you can get into the city or back out to kind of around Stockport if you're wanting to commute whilst you're a student. You can commute between our 3 sites. So our main campus and our health campus are right next door to each other. They're just separated by the train line. And then our Media City campus is just a short bus journey away. We have a connection with the 50 bus route as well, which means you can get to and from our main campus and our Media City campus for free just by showing your student card. And that very, very helpfully cuts through the Salford shopping precinct, where you can find all of your big shops. So if you're thinking about moving across to university to study in Salford, you've got all of your kind of weekly needs accessible via that free bus route as well. Next slide, please. So this is a bit of an overview to where we are, because I find it's often quite helpful to see like an actual map to look at where we are in relation to the city centre. So you can see what I mean there about our 2 campuses, and you can also see a variety of our facilities. So we are a very green campus. We are based right next to Peel Park. So if you're somebody that really likes having that green environment, but having the city just a short walk away, you get a bit of the best of both worlds here at the university. We can also say that our accommodation is on site, so it's right down at the bottom end of our campus, called Peel Park Quarter. You can just see there, which we'll discuss a little bit in the kind of towards the end of my talk. But all of our buildings are nicely spread out, so you've got quite a relaxing environment that you can have a wander through. Lots of cafes, lots of places to chill out, as well as your very specific study spaces. Next slide, please. So we'll go into what you can study, and I've put a few QR codes throughout our presentation today, just so if you're wanting to get a little bit more information on something, you can actually scan them, request things like a prospectus, request a bit more information, things like that. So we have 4 main areas you can study with us. So these are what we call our schools. So we have our business school, we have our School of Arts, Media and Creative Technology, our health sciences school, and our School of Science, Engineering and Environment. And you might think that's kind of 4 subject areas. That seems surprisingly few, but we actually do have kind of over 230 courses built in within those 4 areas. So you've really got a massive variety of things you can study. Next slide, please. So we'll go into a little bit more depth about what those different areas are and what you can kind of do within them. So Salford Business School encompasses all of our business and law courses. All programmes in the business school have optional placement years, meaning you can go out between your 2nd and 3rd year into industry and get those kind of industry experience and those additional life skills that are really, really great to have as a graduate. You'll often find that people like to see you've got a bit of experience when you get into the world of work. And all of our courses do try to offer that, as it is something that we're really big on here at the university. You can also swap out some of our business courses when you get into your 2nd and 3rd year for a language module. So if you want to build in kind of a module in a different language, be it you're brand new to that language or you have a little bit of experience prior to it, you can add a language in. We also have our business incubator, which is free for students, so you can set up your own business and gain good business advice from academics and from industry professionals that have connections within our university. So it's a bit of a helping hand for all of our students, not just our business students, to kind of get on that success ladder, get on the employability ladder. Our law courses also have a solicitor qualifying pathway, so if you're thinking of becoming a lawyer, you can choose one of 2 routes in your final year of our law course and actually get yourself prepared for the solicitor qualifying exams that you take post-university. Next slide, please. We then have our larger School of Arts, Media and Creative Technologies. So this is studied over both our Media City and our main campus and encompasses a wide variety of courses. Try to kind of shorthand list a lot of them there, but there is a massive amount of courses in this school. They're all exceptionally practical. We are a very practical university in the way we teach. We want to make sure that when students study with us, when they go and graduate and go into the world of work, that they've got these skills that are needed to be successful and progress throughout their lives. Especially when it comes to our media programmes, we really do try to be kind of at top industry standard. All of our facilities at Media City campus are at industry standard, if not better. We do find frequently that we have the BBC and ITV coming in to use our studios when they're needing them, just because they quite like working with us, which is a great opportunity with our students to kind of get involved there too. All of the equipment that you may need for your media courses is actually rentable as well. So completely free to students. You can rent large industry grade cameras, sound equipment, anything you might need to kind of create an assignment or a piece, or even do personal work with. You can rent that out for free, so there's no need to buy any expensive DSLR cameras, equipment for when you come into university with us. We understand it's expensive, so we do try to support in that way. Next slide, please. And then we have our School of Health and Society. So this is where all of your allied health professions courses will be. So diagnostic radiography, prosthetics and orthotics, which is quite a unique course, but one of only 2 universities in the UK to offer it. So if it's something you're interested in, it's quite a niche, but it's quite a fun one. We also where our nursing and midwifery courses are, which is 2 of our largest programmes that we offer, so 2 of our most popular, as well as all our social and sports sciences. We have very specific facilities for all of these courses, which is why they have their own campus, because they're needing that kind of specific environment to work out of, including a lot of simulation facilities for our midwifery students with kind of dummies that can give birth, can be fully controlled by students and staff alike, so you can really test out all of your emergency situations before having to work with an actual human being to going through those emergency situations. Obviously our health school is very placement heavy because it is one of the best ways to learn if you're wanting to be prospective nurse, midwife, physiotherapist. We want to get you out on placement, and we do try to be very inclusive with our placements. They're all based in Greater Manchester. However, our academics will work with you to find placements that are accessible and appropriate for you. So usually you'll only have a placement within an hour of your home location, be that in student accommodation if you're moving away from home, or from your actual home address. Next slide, please. We then have our final school, our School of Science, Engineering and Environment. So this is very much what it says on the tin. It's all of our science courses, all of our built environment courses as well. So things like your construction, your building surveying, your environmental management courses, all of those are included, as well as all of your kind of more standard science, zoology, wildlife, those kind of programmes. These are all, a lot of them are based in our new science building, which has only opened last year. So it has massive specialised spaces for all of your engineering courses, your robotics labs, your computer science programmes. So giant space designed specifically for these programmes by and with our academics. So it was created particularly for you guys who are interested in those subjects to study in. We also build a lot of international placements into these courses as well. Next slide, please. Here's a bit of an overview of our accommodation. We have two sites, Peel Park Water, which is on site, and our John Lester Coleman accommodation, which is slightly off site, only a 15-minute walk away though. If you want to find a bit more information about that, I would scan that QR code at the bottom. You can do a virtual tour of both accommodations and have a look at pricing, room types, everything included. Next slide, please. We also have spaces for commuter students, so if you're not interested in kind of moving away from home to come to university, we've built specialised spaces for you guys so you can make sure you've got spaces to relax when you get onto campus before your lectures. Next slide. And then finally, a little bit of information about our student support. So we have a team called ASCORS who are our dedicated student support, so they cover all of these different areas. We also include our Students' Union, they work alongside them, so they have all of your societies, your sports teams, your clubs available on there. And we do also offer extra financial support for students in the form of our Inspire Scheme bursary, which is unique to Salford, in which each undergraduate student gets £150 per year of study to use on a special site where you can buy from creative supplies to AirPods to kitchen equipment, all of the lot of things like that. So it's quite a nice little treat for you when you start university. Next slide, please. And then that's all from me. So any questions, obviously put them in the chat. Here are our open days coming up. We are doing a travel bursary to our open days in which you can claim back up to, I think it's about £120 off of your travel based on the location you've travelled from during that day. So it's a little bit more supportive in a time where we appreciate it's expensive to get around at the moment. If you want to find more information on that, please do scan the barcode. Thank you very much.
Fantastic. Thank you very much, Becky, and thanks for joining us tonight and sticking on the call for so long. We have got one more guest speaker for you tonight and then a bit more information about alternatives to heading off to university. If you've got questions that you would like to ask to Becky, please continue to pop them in the chat now. I'm going to have to move on so that we can get finished on time, I'm afraid, but that was a really good overview. So thank you so much to Becky for joining us this evening. Oh, she's disappeared. She's switched her camera off. We are still here. Bear with me whilst I pop Sabina on instead. Oh, she's back. Don't worry. We are live. You can see that now. Hi, Sabina. Thank you very much for joining us. Sabina joined us on Tuesday night to talk to our post-16 cohort, and she's very kindly agreed to come back this evening. I will let Sabina introduce herself. She's going to talk all about Damar and higher and degree apprenticeships. I'm just trying to find your slides now, but I'll let you get started for us, Sabina. Thank you.
Thanks, Caroline, and thank you for having me back again today. So my name's Sabina and I am one of the recruitment coordinators at Damar Training. So my role is to support candidates into our apprenticeship opportunities. So we do this via two main routes. So we advertise our vacancies via our various platforms that we use, so that be gov.uk, via Get My First Job, as well as our website. And like I said, you apply for our opportunities as you would apply for any other job. But we also share candidate profiles with our partner employers. So where there might be an opportunity that you're interested in, but we don't necessarily have a vacancy, we will create opportunities for you. So liaise with our partner employers and generate new opportunities to support you into your apprenticeship role. In terms of Damar, so a little bit about us, we have a 40-year history. So we started off in Stockport and we are in Manchester city centre now. So we're literally, you might be able to see the building behind me, just outside Piccadilly train station. So super easy to get to in the city centre. We are apprenticeship experts. So we are the leading provider of business and professional apprenticeships. Our apprenticeships are national, so the great thing is the delivery that we do is virtual, so we can deliver apprenticeships across England. We work with various size employers, so from smaller organisations to large multinational, even international organisations. We support apprentices and employers, so whether that be people that are already in employment that are looking to upskill into high level apprenticeships to further education, further qualifications, we support that. But we also recruit apprentices, new apprentices into businesses to help them kickstart their career. And we were recently Ofsted and inspected, where we achieved a good rating as well. So a few facts and myths when it comes to apprenticeships. So apprenticeships offer fantastic career prospects and progression opportunities. So there is going to be opportunity to develop further once you've completed an apprenticeship. So whether that be that you're looking to go on to a high level qualification once you've completed the first apprenticeship, or whether it be that you're looking to secure yourself a full-time position afterwards. Apprentices have the exact same rights as other employees. So when it comes to your holiday allowance, getting bank holiday, sickness leave, enrolment onto the company pension scheme, you are classed as an employee as well as an apprentice. A lot of employers now are realising the benefits that apprentices bring. So we work with a lot of partner employers that started off as apprentices themselves. So they've been through that same process and understand the journey that a new apprentice is going to be going through. They're available in most industries that you think of. So I'll go through in the next few slides some of the qualifications that we deliver, but you can become a solicitor now through an apprenticeship. You can become a paralegal. You can get into the accounts industry through an apprenticeship. So the opportunities are limitless. And 90% of apprentices go on to secure full-time jobs with their employers. So you don't have that stress or that worry of thinking, when you've completed a qualification, where do I go next? How do I look for a job? Because a lot of the time the employer is looking to invest in you. So there'll be opportunity to, like I said, get yourself a full-time job once you've completed the apprenticeship. If we could, I think we've already gone on to the next slide. So what are the advantages for you when it comes to apprenticeship? So you're getting the opportunity to learn new skills, get experience. So rather than just being based in a classroom environment, you're developing practical skills, gaining that experience in the workplace, and you're learning from experienced colleagues. So people that are in those roles or have been in those roles, you're getting that hands-on experience from them. You're achieving a recognised qualification once you've completed the apprenticeship. You're building that solid foundation for your future. So in your chosen career sector, as well as being able to get higher qualifications afterwards, you're earning a salary. So you're gaining that level of independence and freedom that comes with generating a salary from the work that you're doing. So whether it be that you're looking to take driving lessons, being able to save up to move out, or just being able to save up for a rainy day in general, you're getting that salary to help you do that. And you're avoiding the university debt. So you're getting paid to get a qualification as well. So what is an apprenticeship? It's a nationally recognised qualification, and it tests the skills, knowledge and behaviour related to the role that you are going to be doing. The syllabus is set against a national standard, and you do have a period on programme learning. So you're working a day-to-day job and you're also studying towards that qualification at the same time. how does it work? So just the next slide, please. Perfect. So the first section would be enrolment onto the apprenticeship programme. So that would be with your supervisor in the workplace, as well as with your Damar coach. Your actual on-programme learning, so that'll be the online webinars that you're attending, the coaching sessions that you're having, as well as the journal work that you're doing every single week. So that's protected time as part of your working week. So it's not evening classes or weekend classes, it's incorporated into your working week. And then you'll have the endpoint assessment where you're basically showcasing your portfolio, having a professional discussion and getting that qualification at the end of it. So some of the apprenticeship qualifications that we deliver, we work within the accountancy sector, business admin, customer service, data protection, as well as the legal sector and travel. In terms of levels, we deliver a variety of levels, but as Caroline mentioned at the beginning, sometimes it's a case of that you studied a subject at college, but you're looking to switch into something else. And these are great starting point qualifications, as well as those ones where you're looking to progress on once you've done your A levels onto a bit of a higher level apprenticeship as well. So a massive range of professional sector apprenticeships that we offer. So some of the partner employers that we work with, if we could just jump to the next slide, if possible, please. Perfect. So some of the partner employers that we work with. So we work with a lot of the travel companies, so Clarity, Co-op. We also work with large organisations within the legal sector, such as Irwin Mitchell. We also work with the NHS, with the council, and banking organisations such as Aldermore, Bennett Verby and Burnham Building Society as well. So as I mentioned, smaller employers, larger organisations, as well as professional bodies as well. So some of the resources that we do have available, we have the employability pack, which can be found on our website, and that will help you with CV writing, applications, interview preparation. We also have programme flyers available on our website that will go through and give you an overview of the qualifications that we deliver, blog posts, as well as where you can find our vacancies, apprentice case studies. So you'll be able to hear from apprentices that are with Damar or have completed apprenticeships through Damar, as well as perks and benefits. So how to access the NUS Extra Card, our Pass and Rail cards as well. And I think that's me done.
Brilliant. Thank you so much, Sabina, and for sticking right up until the very end. Our last presenter for this evening. It is very much appreciated. There have been quite a few questions in the chat about degree apprenticeships generally, largely about how to apply and that they're quite competitive. So I'll let you respond to those. What I just want to do very quickly before we get finished for this evening, our final presenter from the Prince's Trust hasn't been able to join us, but I've got their slides. So I'm just going to very quickly run through those with you, as well as telling you a little bit more about some of the alternatives. Oh, Sabina's gone. Just bear with me 1 second, as well as tell you a little bit about some of the alternatives to going to uni and doing degree apprenticeships very quickly, and then we will come on to any final questions from social media and email that we've not had time to answer. So just to run you through the last few bits, Prince's Trust, a brand name that we're all familiar with. You've probably seen it in various different guises within the media. They also offer alternative courses at 18 plus. If you haven't made a decision tonight, these are something else to have a look at as an alternative to heading off to uni. So first up, they've got something called the Enterprise Programme, which you can do from 18 up until the age of 30. So even if you head off to university and then you get finished, or you do a degree apprenticeship and then you completed that, you can still do this. It's a fantastic course that gives you kind of a short introduction into great business ideas. So it's a 4-day workshop that also gets you a level 1 award in exploring enterprise. You start on the first day with a talk from a business expert talking about personal finance and legal structures. Day 2, what does a great business idea look like? Day 3, thinking about finance, pricing strategies, how to set up your business funds, etc. And day 4, bit of a business plan and all the marketing and bits and bobs that come underway with that. They also have oh, there we go. Oh, I've missed one. So that just tells you a little bit more about the enterprise programme. It's for people who've got a fantastic business idea who want some help in getting started. They also do business grants that go alongside that of £250 to test if your business idea is viable, as well as loan structures to help you get that business idea off the ground. But there are a whole host of programmes available for the Prince's Trust. They do one at foundation level called Explore that's actually available from 16 to 25. That's 4 weeks personal development, confidence building, bit of leadership and team building thrown in there. They do a whole host of get started courses, which are usually kind of 1 week to 8 weeks long. Everything from podcasting to get started in stand-up comedy, a whole host of industry related courses. They have their team scheme that they deliver in association with Greater Manchester Fire and Rescue. That's a 12-week programme, again equipping you with lots of work experience and practical skills. They do lots of employability courses that are all about getting a job. So they partner with, you know, relatively high profile businesses. You can see the one on the screen, Get Into Retail with M&S. They do Get Into Media with TikTok, etc. and places like that. Get Into Tech with Microsoft. Those are 1 to 4 weeks with an interview on completion. They do things like health and social care courses and their Get Hired events, which are usually 1 to 2 days with a guaranteed interview with an employer on completion. And then they also have their enterprise programme and development awards, again available up until the age of 30 years old. So just to make you aware, there are so many different options available to you that if your first choice doesn't quite pan out, things don't go according to plan, or you find yourself having to wait for that next step, whether that's waiting for a degree apprenticeship to start or waiting after you've finished your education and you're not quite sure about jumping into employment, there's lots of things that you can do that will support you along that way. One of the things that I wanted to mention is a fantastic scheme that we have here in Greater Manchester called Build a Business. This is available from ages 16 upwards with help for you to start your own business. Now, there's an enterprise officer in every borough within Greater Manchester. So if you're not from Stockport joining us tonight, this is available in your locality across Greater Manchester. It's a 4-week programme where you get 12 hours of support to help start your own business. It's run out of the local libraries, as the name would suggest, and supported by business experts. There's a whole host of tools that come along with the Build a Business programme, and it's aimed at anybody who's got a fantastic business idea who wants to do their own thing and get started. The workshops include knowing your market, so a little bit about kind of putting the research in place, unlocking that kind of financial information, putting a business plan together, learning about your competitors and setting the scene. Something about intellectual property, so if you've got a unique design or unique service, making sure that right from the outset it becomes your own and won't be infringed by copyright further down the line. The basics of business, so kind of getting started, setting up that company formation, legal structures, compliance and tax and finance, etc. And then a masterclass in marketing. Their next event is actually on Wednesday, the 18th of October, 10 AM to 1 PM at Stockport Central Library. So if you think that kind of after you finish college or sixth form, setting up your own business might be for you, there's a really good thing to look into. We also have programmes from an organisation called Street League, for those of you who are a little bit sporty or are looking at something slightly alternative, again from the ages of 16 to 30. They have a couple of different programmes. There's Street League power up events that happen on a weekly basis where you can go along and chat to a mentor and have a game of footy at the same time, as well as foundation employability programmes where you get a free football training kit and to do a series of courses linked to different skill areas, as well as some basics of English and maths. There are so many different courses that you can do at 18 plus if you decide that full-time further education, higher education isn't for you. I've just put a couple of examples on the screen now of some of the IT and digital routes that you might like to choose. These are all advertised on the Stockport Jobs Match website. We're a bit of a one-stop shop for jobs within Stockport, as well as careers advice and the schools and colleges hub that I mentioned at the start. But we also advertise all of the free, fully funded training courses that are available available as well. And here are just a handful of the IT and digital course options that are available. So Intro to Web Development from MadLab, the TikTok Creative Academy, or the Digital Edge programme from Catch-22, IT support with cybersecurity from Generation UK. And we have lots of adult learning options as well that I mentioned at the start, pre-employment employability programmes that help you forge that career in healthcare, step into NHS, step into adult social care, social work, etc. Opportunities, routes to becoming a teaching assistant or nursery assistant, making that foray into working with young people, as well as things like hospitality. We have everything from video storytelling through to woodworking and gardening and everything in between. So be sure to head over to the Stockport Jobs Match website and click on training to have a look at some of the alternative options available to you. Now, if anyone's got any final questions, do please pop them in the chat for us. For any questions that haven't been answered tonight, I do apologise. It's been very busy on the chat and on social media and via email. I may have struggled picking up all of your questions. If that is the case, I will upload a web page over the next couple of days with a recording of tonight's event, a copy of all of those questions that have been asked and all of the answers, with answers provided for any that we've not managed to get round to for tonight. So what I'm going to do is, rather than go through some of these questions, because I believe that the moderators, the speakers tonight are getting round to them, is I'd just like to have a quick go around everybody to give us one little last plug about why we should choose them, because I think the common theme for tonight is you've all sounded absolutely fantastic and it can feel rather overwhelming. So I'm going to come to you first, Laura, so I'm giving you a second to just think about it. I would like you just to tell our audience, before we finish for the evening, just one last plug as to why they should choose you. What's great about studying at your location, or something that they may look out for when they come along to an open event or on your website that really makes you stand out as something a little bit different. So I'll come to you first, Laura.
Hi again. Yeah, so just in summary, I would say that we are a local option where you can stay at home, have small class sizes, and the course fees are cheaper. So that's some of the reasons why you might want to consider coming to an open event for your local Stockport College University Centre.
Brilliant. Thank you very much, Laura. Lovely soundbite. Hugh, I'm coming to you next.
Tricky one. So I think it's about choice. I think at Manchester there's lots to be able to pick from, whether it's particular courses, whether it's the modules. It's finding something that you enjoy, and because there's so much scale and scope at Manchester, there's plenty of that. It's all about finding what you want to do next.
Brilliant. Thank you very much. Who was next on my list? Yeah, you've popped your camera on now. Perfect. Thank you, Andy. Over to you.
Yeah, so we Manchester Met, we're very fortunate that we are right in the city centre in Manchester, but at the same time we are a campus uni as well at the same time, so you still get that kind of community feel on campus, despite the fact that we are a large university based in the city centre. We also offer many different types of courses, but I'd say that the entry requirements are quite accessible as well at the same time, asking for 104 to 112 UCAS points for most of the courses that we offer.
Brilliant. Thank you, Andy. Ella, over to you at Liverpool Hope.
Yeah, so I would say we are small, we are community focused, and we are very nicely situated at the end of the M62, and we have lots and lots of options for students, whether they want to do single honours or joint honours. We've got so many combinations and so many opportunities for placement years as well.
That's brilliant. Thank you very much, Ella. Nikita seems to have gone, Cameron. So do you want to pop your camera on and give us your 2 pence as to why people should choose Liverpool John Moores?
Yeah, so we're pretty much just a very practical university. So I think if you are interested in doing a placement year or something along the lines, I would definitely recommend coming to LJMU.
Brilliant. Thank you very much. Becky, you going to pop your camera on for me?
Yeah, so kind of ways I'd recommend Salford. We teach very hands-on. We are a very hands-on university, so you can expect a very practical way of teaching, be that through placements built into your programme or placements between your years of study. We like to make sure that everyone's learning in a way that suits them.
Brilliant, thank you. And lastly, Sabina, I'll come to you.
Yeah, so at Damar, our tagline is that we care about our colleagues, we care about our employers, and we care about our apprentices. And because we provide such a sort of niche sector of qualifications in the professional services, we do provide that tailored approach to students that we work with, to candidates that we support. And as I mentioned, we will actively headhunt opportunities for you as well. So we'll work with you every step of the way.
Brilliant, thank you so much. I just want to say a massive thank you for everybody who's joined us this evening. I hope you found it useful to have a bit of a snapshot overview of all of the different options that you've got at 18+, of some of the fantastic local providers that we are so fortunate to have on our doorstep to choose from. And thank you so much to each of you for joining us this evening as presenters to give a really short snippet of what you have to offer. My advice on closing would be to go along to each of those open events, take a look at their websites closely, arm yourself with information. There are some fantastic next step planning tools available on the Stockport Jobs Match website, where you can do exactly what we said at the start: set your criteria, make a list of questions to go along to an open day, and make sure that you get the most out of that on the day. Thank you very much to everyone for joining us this evening. Just a final plug for the Instagram account. Keep following us throughout the academic year. We'll be posting lots of updates about UCAS deadlines, university open dates, applying for degree apprenticeships. National Apprenticeship Week, which happens in February, is a time that we share out lots of details about apprenticeship vacancies and larger employer schemes that are opening up, and top tips and things like that. We also post lots of information around the time of clearing and results day and things like that. So give us a follow at Post16 Careers to find out all of the information there. I've been Caroline from Stockport Jobs Match. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. Keep those questions coming in, and we will publish the link to the recording with those answers over the next couple of days. Thank you.